What if the dumbest answer you could give is actually the smartest? So we've been taught that smart people always have the answers and they always sound certain, but what if saying, I don't know, is actually your secret weapon for building trust, learning faster, and increasing your influence? Because I can tell you firsthand, it is a superpower set of words. You know, we're living in the age of instant expertise. Everyone's got a take, everyone's got a instant opinion, scroll through social media for 5 minutes and every single person is an authority on leadership or health or psychology or finance or, list goes on, and it creates pressure, especially in meetings and on panels and in conversations where we feel like we're being evaluated and we feel like we have to have an answer. Especially if we are leading a meeting or presenting on a topic, we think we need to actually be the expert. So what do we do if we actually don't know, but we think we have to have an answer? We bluff, we guess, we talk around the answer, we fill the silence with words that we hope nobody notices. But the truth is, it doesn't actually make us look fast. It makes us look insecure. Whereas saying I don't know in a confident and grounded way has the complete opposite effect. I don't know actually boosts credibility because it signals honesty, self-awareness, emotional intelligence. There's a massive difference between someone who can admit uncertainty and someone who fakes expertise, and we can all see it and sniff it a mile away. I learned this lesson the hard way. It was early in my speaking career and I was delivering a keynote presentation on managing millennials. As a millennial, I spoke about how to get the best out of the younger generations in the workplace at that time. Now there's Generation Z and the topic's changed. Anyway, I digress. So I finished the keynote presentation and it's the Q&A section, and there was one of my agents was there watching me for the first time, so I felt like I needed to be the expert. Someone asked me a question that I didn't know the answer to. They said, hey, I'm a millennial managing up, I'm managing a baby boomer, what do I do? That's not my zone of genius. That was not what my keynote was about. I should have said, amazing question, I don't know. Does anyone here have ideas? Or, amazing question, I don't know, let me get back to you. But instead, I felt like I needed to know, so I started going blah, 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 blah. And you know when you're rambling and you're saying something and you know that it's wrong and it doesn't sound right, but you're already committed because you're halfway through and then you keep going? That is exactly what happened to me. And that was the moment where I learned never, ever, 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 ever pretend to have the answer when you don't, because it doesn't feel good and it doesn't land well. It's so much more graceful and elegant to go, do you know what? Amazing question. I genuinely don't know, but I would love to actually learn that as well. Let me find out and come back to you. And some of the most respected leaders and experts totally understand this. Like in complex situations, people who earn the most trust aren't the ones who are overpromising. They're the ones who acknowledge what is actually still unknown. And that transparency doesn't actually weaken their authority, it strengthens it. And when you admit you don't actually know, it's also a doorway to more learning and deeper thinking and better discussions and deeper conversations. And in fact, the more intelligent someone is, the more they're generally aware of what they don't actually know. It's never a weakness. Admitting what you don't know is not a weakness. In fact, they're three of the most powerful words that you can say, especially in leadership, because you're meeting whoever has asked the question where they're at and you're not pretending to be above them. And also, as I said, if you're trying to, spin an answer that is not actually truthful, we can tell. We can feel it intuitively, we can read it in your body language, we can see. So if someone asks you a question that you don't know, it can be as simple as, amazing question, I don't know the answer, let me get back to you. Or that is a great question. I've actually never considered it from that angle before, but I would love to learn about that. Or even better, awesome question, who knows where it's going to lead, let's explore it together. When you do that, you're not actually avoiding authority or responsibility, you're actually creating a new opportunity for connection. Also, saying I don't know creates the time for better answers instead of rushed ones. Also, in this day and age, 2026, where we are with AI and how fast everything's moving, if anyone does tell you they have all the answers and they are an expert and they know every single thing about a single topic, I would say it's impossible and run a mile. The world is changing fast, and those who are truly leading aren't clinging and holding on to outdated certainty. They're open, they're agile, they're adaptable, they're flexible, and they're fluid to learn brand new things in every moment. When we're curious and open, there's something really liberating about dropping the act of thinking that you need to know everything and just having less stress and more presence. So remember, intelligence is not about having all the answers. It's about having the confidence to say, I don't know, and the curiosity to keep learning and create a new learning and discovery experience with others.